evening, everybody. My name is Todd Scholl. I serve as the lead learner of the SCEA's Center for Educator Wellness and Learning. We call ourselves COOL. And you can learn more about what we do at COOL at cool.us. That's CEWL.us. We have lots of great resources on there for you to check out. Tonight's live stream will eventually be posted there, and all the live streams that we do are posted there, along with links to our COOL coaching program and to events that we have coming up that you can register for. Well, tonight is one of my favorite topics. I am really, really geeking out over artificial intelligence. So if you've seen some of these Sora videos that have come out, they're really fascinating to see that artificial intelligence not only can write and create images, but now can create videos. And it's really fascinating. And I've started to integrate different artificial intelligence tools into my practice. It helps me write drafts of things. It helps me take these long form videos and convert them into shorter clips. It's just, there's a lot of amazing things that artificial intelligence can do. And it can make things a little more efficient for you. And if that can save us 10 to 15 minutes a day, that's 10 to 15 minutes that we can reclaim for other things we want to do in our lives, like maybe go for walks or spend some time, have a conversation with our family members, or get some rest. So it's really great. We can use AI as a tool to improve our efficiency so that it can hopefully make time for us to do some of the other things in our life that are meaningful. Well, and we're going to bring on tonight's guest to talk about some of these tools that hopefully will help you in your classroom practice enhance your classroom efficiency. Tonight's guest has been an educator since 2005. Her experience spans teaching science at both middle and high school levels, with a focus on middle level education. She holds a Bachelor of Science in biology from the University of South Carolina, the Gamecocks, and a master's in biology from Grand Canyon University. She currently teaches 8th grade at Blythewood Middle School in Richland School District 2, right here in South Carolina. Without further ado, let's bring on tonight's guest, Nicole Schuldes. Nicole, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, Todd. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I appreciate you coming on tonight and your willingness to share these tools with educators, because I think hopefully they're going to learn something tonight that will save them some time and maybe some stress. So I'm going to let you just sort of take it over. What can teachers do to help improve their classroom efficiency using AI?
All right. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody that suggested that I come on and do this. Again, my name is Nicole Schuldes, and I'm an 8th grade science teacher at the amazing Blythewood Middle School. And I've been teaching for a long time, and I've had the opportunity to really see how technology has changed. Like when I first started teaching, even though it was in the early 2000s, I mean, I had a chalkboard, I had an overhead projector, and I kind of had all those old school tools. And then Blythewood Middle School was one of the first schools in Richland 2 to get the students had tablets for a while. Then we went to Chromebooks. So I've really had a great opportunity to see how technology has enriched the lives of my students. And now I'm taking the opportunity to look at technology, just like what you said, saving me some time and, trying to reclaim some of that time during the day on administrative tasks that we all have to do, but that I really just want to try to limit the amount of time I'm working on those things. So right. That was sort of my inspiration to start looking into AI, and I've learned a lot. So I've got a little presentation I'm gonna share with everybody. Great. And then hopefully I'll get to the resources, because I know that's what everybody wants, is all the resources, obviously. So I am getting ready to share my screen. Hopefully it will load here in a second.
Okay.
Let me know, Todd. It says it's sharing. There it is. I see it. Awesome. Thank you. And I am a newbie to any kind of like presentation of live things, so y'all bear with me, please. But just as an example, so the name of the session, I named it Cultivating Classroom Efficiency, Leveraging AI for Everyday Tasks. And I had AI write that title for me. I did not create that title. I used one of my AI generators, and I was like, this is what I'm looking for. I want it to kind of have this this content, and I went through maybe 2 or 3 suggestions, and that's what it did. So that's exactly how I created that. I'm just going to start with a quick disclaimer that I'm not an AI expert. I have no formal training in AI. Everything that you're going to see tonight is me and just my own personal experience. With that being said, I'm not sponsored by anybody. Some of the platforms and AI generators I'm going to share with y'all are some are free, but some are not. Some you do have to pay for. But if it's a paid for, there are some I do pay for out of my own pocket. But I've also tried to bring in some free ones. And of course, all opinions are my own. So you may like what I share, you may not like what I share. So, it's kind of my own experience. So it just quick, because I'm a teacher. Of course, we've got to list our objectives before every lesson. So I'm just going to introduce everybody to AI, what benefits, of course, considerations, and then we're going to get to the examples. I'm going to fly through the first couple slides because I know everybody just give me the good stuff. Just give me the AI stuff. And then obviously, if we have time, I'll take some questions. So I don't know, Todd, if my audience can interact with me, but if there's anybody out there that wants to interact, if you're able to look, just kind of getting familiarity, even if you don't interact, just in your own brain, where are you with AI? Maybe you've never heard of it. So, this is kind of like the old fist of 5 that we do. So, 1, I've never heard of it. 2, heard of it, but it sounds kind of scary. 3, maybe I've checked it out a little bit, done a little chat GPT exploration. 4, using it. And then 5, like I am confident to present. So if anybody wants to chime in, or you just want to say it inside your own head, that's perfectly fine with me. But I expect that I've got everybody from a 1 to 5, that I've got all levels of learners. So I'm going to try to differentiate my instruction and make sure everybody gets what they need from today's presentation. So let's go ahead and talk about AI. So if you're at a 1 or 2 and you don't know anything about it, basically artificial intelligence is the ability of a machine to replicate, simulate human intelligence. We've seen it in a lot of areas. We've seen like self-driving cars. You can have like chat bots that can act like an assistant. Many of you maybe even have used it like as a virtual travel agent. You type in what you're looking for, what your budget is, and it will spit out a list of things, and it will kind of, the thing with an artificial intelligence is it learns from your previous interaction. It's doing some of the thinking for you. And it can replicate those things that like our brain will generate. But at the end of the day, I'm using AI to just make my life easier. But there is one distinction. Some people have a misconception that AI is a robot. It is not a robot. It is, there's kind of an analogy that I use to explain the difference. Think about a robot as like the body, and the AI is the brain. So a robot can only execute commands that you give it, where AI has the ability to kind of go beyond that. So rather than just executing a command, it's going to do the thinking for us in some cases. So that's kind of how I explain AI to somebody that's never used it before. So why bother to use AI? Well, obviously we're all here for students. That's our number 1 priority. So, there are several things that we can use for that. If you are using AI to design a lesson or design an activity, it may give you an option that you had never considered before. And therefore, getting that student level of student engagement that we want. You can use AI for personalized learning and for your students. I'm going to show you that in just a little bit. I can use AI, I'm a science teacher, so I'm always struggling for real data that my students can use. And sometimes that's hard to find real data that is middle level appropriate. I've always found a lot of high school and beyond, but I have trouble finding that middle level data, and even younger. Just because I have a student that's in the 8th grade doesn't mean they're ready to digest middle level data. So I can use AI to generate a data set that's more applicable to my students. I can give them some problem solving skills. We can use data and AI to do data analysis, interpret data for us, crunch numbers at a much faster rate than our little human brains can do. And then the other thing is AI is acting as a personal tutor. I could design a chatbot, and I'll touch on this very briefly because I don't have a ton of experience in the chatbot design phase. It's kind of new, that part's new, but I'll get to that. But we can design chatbots that can work with our students, provide explanations. Like for instance, today I'm in a class of 27, 30 students, and I'm trying to help everybody, and there's only one of me. So a chatbot could provide some of those basic, simple questions that your students have. And, like we used to do the ask three, then me kind of thing. We'll ask the chatbot, then me is sort of where that could go into. So those are our student benefits that we could have.
Nice.
Do you need me to stop, Todd? Am I doing okay?
No, you're doing great. Keep going.
Thank you. So of course, where are teacher benefits? Because if a teacher is deriving benefit from this technology, our students are going to, by like association, benefit as well. So first off, it's increasing productivity. I know every teacher that is on here, and even if you're not a teacher, if you're just a regular person listening to this, we are asked to wear so many hats during the day and have so much. Like, I'm a teacher, I'm a counselor, I'm a mom, I'm so many things to so many people. I lead, I'm a club advisor. So to try to fit all of that into the space of a workday is really hard. So if I can reduce my administrative tasks, or at least streamline them, make them flow better, make them a little easier, it's a benefit to me. I have more time to spend on my students rather than administrative tasks.
Mm-hmm.
I can use, obviously, AI to identify patterns and trends in my student performance, and then tailor content to meet the individual needs of student, because we all know every class is very, very specific. And I can have one student in my class, and the teacher across the hall can have that same student and have different needs in both of those classes. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about with AI, how it's going to benefit us as a profession. But of course, with any benefit, there's going to be some considerations. First off, I want everybody to understand AI is not going to replace teachers. We are irreplaceable. You're not going to get replaced by a computer, because we'll see tonight that there are limitations to this technology. But there are other considerations that we should have as professional educators. Obviously, privacy, security. You have to be so careful about sharing any kind of information, data. You don't want to have anything that is tagged to a student's name or identifying information. That's really important. There is bias in AI algorithms. Obviously, the more AI is used, the more the algorithms become refined, the better that will be. But there is bias in there. So you, as the educator with experience in the classroom, need to vet every single thing you do through AI. Like, you cannot just generate something and then put it out there. That it is opening yourself up to a world of just, there's issues. So, and I'm going to show you this. And of course, responsible and ethical use. Just like I started off my presentation telling you, I did not write the title of this presentation, an AI generator did. You should never generate something and say, well, this is me, because it's not. It is AI generated. And so, always give credit where credit's due. So those are some of the things that I think about as I'm using AI in the classroom. All right, so I'm gonna get to the good stuff. All of that preface to get to the good stuff. So I have a list. I will not get to all of these. It's just too much to do in one session. But I'm gonna kind of hit my top 4, and then if I have time, I'll go beyond. But the first one that I'm gonna show you, and I hope I'm doing this right. So Todd, let me know if I'm messing this up.
It looks good.
Perfect. So this first one is not an AI generator. Well, I think it is driven by AI, but this is a compiled website of educator AI tools. It's called AIeducator.tools. And it literally compiles all these AI generators. Now, I say all that to say, I mean, there could be anything. Like AI is a little Wild West like. So you would have to really go through every single one of these that you are considering and think about what is it going to give you. But what I like about this, because a lot of AI generators have either a free and a premium model or a freemium. So you can, what I like by this, you can sort by free. And so if you just don't have any extra cash in your budget, you're schooled up, whatever the case may be, you can do that. And then you can sort by category. So if I'm looking for assessment and I want it to be free, look, they don't have any assessment tools that are free, but it's basically a search engine for AI. And there's lots of stuff you can drill down and you can find out more if you want to know more about that particular tool. And then if you want to go to the tool, you click the website and it takes you to that. So I kind of wanted to start off with that because I thought that would be a good reference for everybody, because this is what I have on the screen right now is the tiniest sample of AI tools. And it feels like every single day, something new is coming out. I first did this presentation back in October. And since then I've already added to my AI library of tools that I'm using pretty regularly. So, but that is like a database of all the AI tools for educators specifically. So, the next one that I'm going to share with you is called eduaid.ai, and they have both a free and paid version. So I'm going to, I do pay for this one. So you're going to see some things that are not free that I have access to, but I'm just going to show it to you really quick. But this one does have a ton of free stuff. So if it's not in your budget, don't do it. Don't upgrade. There is still so much you can use that is completely free. So I'm a science teacher, so I obviously are going to know things that are associated with science, but you can change your subject. Some of the AI generators, content generators in this particular website, are not specific to any content, but of course, science is my thing. So mine is automatically defaulted to science. You can change the grade. So you can go preschool to post-secondary. So there's a lot of options. Oh my goodness, my cat. Sorry. Get down, cat. Just like, what is happening right now? And then at the top, I've got planning, information objects, independent practice, cooperative learning, gamification, and questions. And so they kind of, that way you can kind of narrow in. I'm going to show you, I think 2 or maybe 1 of my favorites that I use. So I'm going to find, it is in, so CER is a big thing in science. It stands for claim, evidence, and reasoning. It's something we use with our students to help them kind of think like scientists, to work through scientific problems. So I'm going to generate a CER. I'm going to change my grade level to middle school because that's what I teach. And when you scroll down, it gives you topic or keyword. You can enter a whole standard. You can enter a topic. You can enter some objectives that you have. Does not matter. I'm actually going and y'all won't see this because I'm doing it off screen, but I'm going to the South Carolina State Standards for science. I'm going to copy and paste my standard. So I'm using this one. This is animal behaviors, reproduction, how the structures can help things survive. And I'm going to click add to workspace, and I'm going to open my workspace back up, and there it is. So this is just generated a CER. It's a scenario, impact of flower color on pollination success. So it gives like the little setup, it gives a data set, then it gives the claim that your students should generate, the evidence that they have, and the reasoning associated behind it. And then they even give you a little rubric at the end. At the bottom, you can see I've got these 2 little blue bubbles. So if I wanted to generate an informative text plus questions based on the CER, you click that, it will generate it. If I want to click a lab and materials list based on the CER, it'll generate it for me. Without reading through this, I was just kind of playing around earlier, making sure I had all my ideas, all my ducks in a row. And I generated one earlier, and I noticed that it did not give me enough data. Like it had the CER, it had all this great claim, evidence, and reasoning, but it was missing some data. So that's a limitation. Like you have got to read through this. Like it would not make any sense to somebody if you just gave this to your student because you did not have enough data in the other one. Now this one looks pretty good because we've got a successful pollination versus unsuccessful. So you could look at those two numbers and try to figure that out. But just make sure this is my best warning. Like you've got to read everything over. This is not meant to be a replacement for you. You've got to be the vetting source that goes through this. This is what I use as like a jumping off point, not a be all end all. So that's like a little CER. One other thing, I'm gonna hide my workspace, is where is my, they have a gamification, so you can create word searches, escape rooms. Again, you'd really need to go through this. The only one I've used in this is the Jeopardy style. I've done that and it came out okay. There were some questions that I was like, that's probably not written in a way that makes much sense to people. So, but there's gamification, but this one is great. And like I said, it has got a whole, most of it is completely free. The only thing that's really difference between the free and the paid is the paid version, the free version limits the number of generations you have in a month. That's all. So really you get access to all of this. So this is EduAid. And like I said, it's for all content levels. So everybody should be able to get something from this one. So I'm going to go and share my next one because I want to make sure my time is not getting crazy. So the next one that I'm going to share with y'all is, if it comes up, is magicschool.ai. Again, free versus paid version. Basically, the free version limits the number of saved output that you can create, like your generations, the things, the products you're making. And it does not integrate with any learning like LMS, like your Google Classroom or Schoology or any of your LMSs. It doesn't integrate with that. If you upgrade to the paid version, it will allow you to talk with like my Google Drive. Like I can generate something in this and it will connect with my Google Drive.
Nicole,
So,
can I just briefly interject your question that we
absolutely.
had? Teachers is, I'm assuming in your district none of these sites are. I'm assuming that none of these sites are blocked in your district, and if we do have teachers who are in districts where they are blocked, what would be your recommendation to them about trying to advocate for them being unblocked?
So I do not have any issues accessing this. I can access it with my personal device. I can access it with my school device. I think in terms of advocacy is, showing the value that it has for teachers. I think that sometimes maybe administration might feel like, well, my teachers are going to cut corners and they're going to skimp out on their lessons and they're going to make AI generate all their lessons and they're just going to sit back and not do any work. And that's not what this is for. I know in our district, not particularly in my school, but I know in our district, especially in science, we have a lot of teachers that are from outside the country that we've brought in to teach because of teacher shortages. And that's a nationwide issue. So we're bringing in these teachers that don't know and don't really have experience with the US education system and that model. What better tool do we have than giving them this to say like, hey, if you need help generating a lesson, use this tool. You can't, and I'll show you like maybe, let me show you one of the lessons where you can maybe see it, but it's not going to do all the work for you. It's a jumping off point.
Right.
I'll show you also like some of those administrative tasks, especially Magic School. I use this one for administrative tasks all the time. That just saves me some time. So then I can plan more effective, more engaging lessons for my students. I'm not being pulled in. I don't feel like I'm being pulled in 1,000 different directions to meet all these needs of administrative tasks. So I feel like that would be my first point in advocacy. The other thing is AI is not going away. It's not. Like we've opened Pandora's box and it is open. It's not going to go away. So why, we kind of did this when we started introducing technology to the classroom and we said like, we don't want, we don't want our students to access the internet. It's too scary. Well, guess what? Like, they are going to do it.
Right.
And now we figured out ways to enhance our lessons with that. Why would we not do the same thing with AI? Like,
Amen.
that's what I think is going to be the next step. And again, like, it's not replacing us. It's not a teacher. It is a tool. Just like your textbook is a tool, just like your laboratory supplies are a tool, just like your media center person is a tool. Like, you use your resources as teachers. Why would we not do that? Because our students are using AI. And if we don't understand AI first, or at least try to get a good handle on it, they're going to use it for evil. And I'll show you one quick example of that in just a second. Not for evil, but I mean, they're going to use it to do their work. And so you need to learn to spot that.
Yep.
So being ahead of the curve, I feel like, is so important. So Magic School, awesome. I subscribe to it. But again, tons of free stuff. They just introduced this Magic School for students. I've not had time to play with it. Like, within the last week, they just introduced it. Getting ideas on how to use AI tools with your students, because everything I'm doing today is really just teacher stuff. But y'all, these three at the top, you can see they're my favorites: professional email, email responder, and email family. We have all had that email from a parent that you just either don't know how to respond to, or you need to step away before you respond to. And I use the email responder to make sure my tone is right, to make sure I'm coming across. Because, in this world, we don't really call parents anymore. I mean, in our district, we use Parent Square a lot. You get that loss of humanity in an email. So making sure the tone of your email is so important, that you come off in the right tone, with the right direction. That email responder, like, all you do is click on it. I won't go through the whole thing because I know we're running short on time. You put your name in, you copy and paste the email that you're responding to. What do you want to communicate? What do you want to tell that person? Generate. Bam, your email's done. Now, again, like, there's never been a single email I've generated using this where I copied and pasted and just sent it. All of them need revision, because sometimes I'm like, that's a little too sweet, or too, it's like a little too professional. Like, it doesn't sound like a human wrote it.
Right.
So, I've had to do that as well. I'm going to show y'all one more that I absolutely love. And if you are a Google for Education school, like if you use the Google Suite, this is it's ready to go. It's created by Google. And it's called Brisk. So what I'm going to do is so here's an open document that I have. It's just a Google Doc. Brisk is an extension. So what that means is you would have to go to the Chrome store and search for Brisk and download the extension. Some schools block extensions, some schools do not. I'm very fortunate that I work in an amazing district that really allows our teachers to be professionals and decide what is appropriate for teacher extensions. Now, student extensions, lots of blocking, but teachers, they give us that autonomy to be able to determine as a professional. I know what's appropriate. So this little circle down here, this black circle it kind of looks like a B. I think it's supposed to be B, is Brisk. And so I can click on that, and I can click on that in a blank document. And then I go to create, and this is the things I can create. And like, some of you are going to probably lose your mind in a minute. I can create, because it's a Google product, I can create a Google quiz like that. Now, again, you have to read every question, because I've seen some weird answers that AI has generated. Or sometimes what I notice is if I use AI to generate a question, two of my answer choices will basically say the same thing. AI is not really good at giving you the right answer and three wrong choices. Sometimes it gets confused. So again, but I mean, if it writes the question for me, and at least I've got something to start with, it saves me a little bit of time. So I'm going to write a quiz. I'm going to do 8th grade. I'm going to do multiple choice. I'm just going to go to 2 questions because I don't feel like dealing with that. I'm going to paste that same standard I used in the other one. I'm going to click next, and I'm going to create a new, we'll do it in the Google Docs since I'm already in it. And it's going to generate. And this is what AI does. Like, it just starts writing. Again, you would have to read through it. This is really cool because I can translate it to another language. So if you have a student that is a non-native speaker, translate it into a language that works for them. We can make this more difficult. If you're like, that's an easy peasy question, my kids need more challenge than that, do that. If it's too hard, make it less difficult, make it shorter, make it longer. Anything you want to change, you can brisk it. Then you can add on some things, answer key, you can add more questions, short response, long response. If you feel like, okay, I did a couple multiple choice, now I want them to give me some short answers. So Brisk does that. I'm going to show you the coolest thing though that Brisk does. So we know students are using AI to write and create answers on things. And so Brisk has this super cool, I'll show you. So when you click it, now that I have text on this document, I can click inspect writing and it gives me two choices. It gives me a replay or detect AI writing. And I want to show you that. I created a little YouTube video that I'm going to share with you here in just like 2 seconds of this is an actual student assignment. All identifying information has been removed, but an actual student assignment that they submitted to me and how I caught them using AI. So let's do this. Let me know, Todd, if you are okay with my YouTube. And there's no sound, so we don't have to worry about sound. It's just me.
Yeah. Okay.
Can y'all see that okay?
Yes.
Perfect. All right, so I'm going to press play. So this is the assignment that the student submitted to me. So I opened up Brisk, I clicked inspect writing, and I clicked replay. This is every keystroke that student wrote. And you can see there was three big chunks, and it tells you right there that they did 3 big pastes. So they got it from somewhere. Then I can go into, and I hit the wrong button on that one. I can go back into inspect writing, detect AI writing, and it gives me a scale. Now it's got a disclaimer, just like anything else. The results are imperfect. But what it's taking into account is the number of keystrokes that they do, the pastes that they do. It gives me how long they spent on the document and how many times, like, we all type and no one is a perfect typist, like, especially not an 8th grader. I'm sorry, but I'm not. And so it looks to see, like, did you go back and change like a capitalization? Did you misspell a word? It looks for that. And that's how it gives you that range of like how likely it is. So of course I use those 2 things. I talked to the student and I said, this is what I see. Can you explain it? I didn't come all like crazy accusatory, like you're cheating. I was like, can you explain why this happened? He was very honest. He said, he said, I was running out of time. I had other commitments. I felt the pressure to get this assignment done. So I used AI. And so, I followed school policy and we handled it, we handled it like a plagiarism idea. It's sort of the same idea. But it was a valuable, and I tell my students ahead of time, if you submit something, this is subjected to plagiarism and AI checks, and they know it. So that's sort of my experience with AI. Like I said, there are so many other things out there. Most of them have at least a couple free resources and then an upgraded version. I will share my contact information for anybody. I'm more than happy to try to help you with anything. That is my email, my school email. So feel free to shoot me an email should you need help or questions or anything that I can do for you. I am more than happy to help you.
Awesome.
And I think that's it.
All right, Nicole.
That was a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot, but I think it's really helpful. And one thing I just want to, we talked about increasing productivity, and I totally agree that this can help increase productivity. What I am hoping that will happen though is that districts and schools won't see this and say, hey, now teachers have this powerful tool that will save them time. So now we can add something else to their plate in lieu of that time that they're saving. I think we need to as a profession say, listen, we're using this AI sort of as an aid. And if that gives us a little bit more time to maybe to rest or to read or to do some of the tasks that we're taking home so that we have a little bit more of a life to carve out, I think that would help with teacher retention, because I think a lot of what's happening in terms of losing our teachers is that a little bit more has been added to their plate every single year, and they still just have 7 days a week, 24 hours in a day, and so more and more of their free time's being taken up with some of these tasks. So I hope that administrators and school and policymakers won't see this as an opportunity to just add more to the plate because their teachers are using AI.
I definitely, I agree with you. I mean, and I think AI is going to go in all directions, in education, in manufacturing, in, all of the, all of our workplace. So I feel like, if we want to be better educators, we have to stay current. Like, I mean,
Absolutely.
we have to be lifelong learners. And that's like, how am I going to get my students? How do I expect my students to learn if I'm not continuously learning and improving and making sure that I'm trying to do the best? But I mean, I agree that, it would be great to take back some time to focus on, I mean, we all know building relationships with our students
Right.
is the number one thing that, improves, behavior and, learning. It has so many effects. And so if I can just take even 10 minutes back and I can use that to build a relationship with a student, and that's totally what I want to do.
Yeah, just taking away some of these mundane tasks that really aren't about developing those relationships and really aren't about what it really means to be a human being. It's just like these are tasks that if we can give them over to AI, then it allows us to hopefully insert more of that humanity into our daily experience. So
Absolutely.
thank you so much, Nicole. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. All right, everybody. That was Nicole Schuldes. Really great information there, and I hope that some of that information is going to be useful for educators out there watching, and hopefully save you some time so that you can make more time for the things that really matter in your life. I'd like to promote a couple of things that we have coming up at Cool. First of all, if you're not aware of this program, Cool Coaching, Dr. Marcella Weinsnyder, who is our induction specialist, she is an amazing person and has a great mind. And she went out and recruited Angie Brush and Stephanie Johnson to work with her on this program called Cool Coaching, which is induction teachers getting free assistance one-to-one online. And they can do this on Tuesday and Thursday nights from 6 to 8 p.m. So that'll be tomorrow night will be the next Cool Coaching session from 6 to 8 o'clock. All you have to do is go to cool.us/coaching. They'll put you in a Zoom room and you'll get into one of the rooms with one of these veteran educators. And you can ask them any questions that you have about your profession. So please take advantage of that. A couple of other things we have coming up. The Educator Mindfulness Retreat. Last time I checked, there were 5 spaces left. Our first retreat sold out. The second retreat, which is June 26th to the 28th, still has 5 of the 10 spaces left. You can go to cool.us/retreat for more information. It's going to be held in Old Fort, North Carolina at a place called Indigo Nature Retreat. It is absolutely a stunning and beautiful place to get away in the North Carolina mountains with other educators. This is secular, so you don't have to worry. This is not going to be something that conflicts with your religious views. I don't think it would anyway. Certainly isn't intended to. It's science-based. It's grounded in science. It's trauma sensitive. And it's really, we empower educators who come to help sort of set their own agenda. But we think this is a really great opportunity for educators to spend 3 days and 2 nights in North Carolina with us. Yelena Popovich and I will be facilitating this retreat. She and I developed this retreat model back in 2016 and launched the first retreat for educators in South Carolina back in 2016. And we've been working to refine that model, and she does a wonderful job. And I think you're really going to enjoy this retreat. It's $150 for members of the SCEA. It is $250 for non-members. That includes 2 nights of accommodations. It includes all of your meals, snacks, yoga sessions, a book. You'll get to choose a book, and all the training. And the only thing it doesn't include is your travel to and from the retreat. And you may be able to, maybe you can talk your school principal or your district into paying for your travel to this retreat. We have really great feedback on it. It can be a very life-transforming event, and we hope that those of you who are considering going will check out more on the website at cool.us/retreat. And we also have coming up, we just added a new co-facilitator today, Rona Neely. Some of you may know her from her work at Sarah. She's now at Lawrence Elementary School. But Karen Beeman and Jennifer Dowler, who operate the Masters in Trauma-Informed Education program at Columbia College, which is an amazing and incredible program. They're going to be there, and Rona's going to be there. I'm going to be there. We're going to be facilitating this workshop on July 11th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Lunch will be provided, and this is free for members of the SCEA. It's $40 for folks who are not members, but this is going to be a really great opportunity. You'll get 4 hours of credits. You'll get a certification that you've been through this workshop, and you can learn more about that at cool.us/trauma. And the last thing I wanted to share with you tonight, and let me see, I got to pull this off. Give me 1 second here. There's so many things. I'm trying to be producer and the guest at the same time. Host at the same time. So I'm really excited about something, and I want to share that with everybody tonight. So I'm going to tell you a little story. So in 2013, I had been for about 2 years presenting on mindfulness in education. And I knew a lot of the science, and I knew some of the basic practices, and I shared that with educators as a way of just sharing with them an opportunity for them to look at their stress and to learn this technique, this mindfulness technique, to help them investigate their stress and investigate the way we sometimes create a lot of stress, and hopefully deconstruct and undo some of that stress. And then as I've learned more and more about it, I wanted to find a place where mindfulness was embedded into the school culture. And back in 2013, there weren't a lot of places doing that. And so I used Google, and I found a couple of schools. As you can imagine, there's some schools in Asheville, North Carolina, which is a very special place. And there was a school in this small town called Floyd, Virginia, and I reached out to this school. It's called Blue Mountain School. And Blue Mountain School is in Floyd, and Floyd is in Southwest Virginia. Now, Floyd is a small town. Like a lot of small towns in South Carolina, it has one stoplight, but it's a different kind of town. And if you've ever been there, you know what I'm talking about. It is a really unique, almost anomalous, I would say it is anomalous type of culture. And it's a fascinating place to visit because of the native people from that have a built-in Appalachian culture infused with some new-minded people that came in I believe in the 60s and 70s, and these two different types of groups kind of coexist in a way that's really beautiful, where community is really valued. And they opened up this school called Blue Mountain School. And anyway, so they were one of the few schools that was actually implementing mindfulness for educators and students. And so I went there to do research in 2013. It was basically 11 years ago. I went up there, and it was fascinating. It was fascinating what they were doing, and they were reading Dan Siegel's books, Whole Brain Child. They were practicing mindfulness as a staff. They were talking about neuroscience. The students had for PE were doing yoga. They were doing mindfulness. They had mindfulness classes. And it was really beautiful. It was a really beautiful experience. And I kind of filed that away. And I've been back to Floyd several times since then. But in October of 2022, I had been working, and it had just kind of was developing cool, and had a camera and asked our executive director, Todd Jake, if I could go back to Floyd to shoot footage for documentary film. And so I went to Blue Mountain School, and then since 2013, they opened a school in that community called Springhouse Community School, just a little bit north of Floyd. And so I spent a few days there shooting interviews, shooting footage of the students, the teachers, the staff, community members, parents, and observing and just shooting this footage and taking photos. And then I brought it home, and then I realized, holy cow, I've got 6.5 hours of footage, and I've got to edit this down, and it's going to be tough. So it's taken me a long time, because this isn't my full-time job, isn't to be a documentary filmmaker. So I decided, rather than to make it a full-length film, to create a documentary series. And I got that idea from several things I saw on Netflix. So what we've done is there's 4 episodes to this documentary. The first episode features the culture from the staff point of view at the Blue Mountain School, which is an elementary school. The second episode is the culture of Springhouse Community School from the adult perspective. And then the third episode is mainly the student experience at Blue Mountain. And then the fourth episode, which I just completed this week and just finished editing, is the student experience at Springhouse. And so the docuseries is done. Whew, it was a lot of work. It was, hours and hours and hours and hours and days and days and days of work, and really pouring myself into it. But it was so inspirational, because what these folks say in this documentary is really, really powerful, and something that my hope is that it will spark conversations about, what are we doing? What are we doing in education? Like, what are we doing when we have teachers who are wearing diapers to school? What are we doing when we have teachers who are getting UTIs and having kidney issues because they're not able to use the bathroom? I mean, that level of inhumanity. What are we doing when so many teachers I know are struggling with mental health, and students are struggling with mental health because of the demands that have been placed on them with this accountability system that prioritizes testing over human well-being? I mean, it prioritizes data over the actual flourishing of human beings. This is something that, from my perspective, is the core issue. We can talk about teacher pay, very important. We can talk about planning time. All of that stuff is very, very important, but it's a symptom of an underlying problem. The underlying problem is that we have a systemic issue. We have amazing educators. The problem isn't you look around, there are amazing educators in every building across the state of South Carolina. We have amazing leaders. We have amazing students. The problem isn't that. The problem is the system that we find ourselves in, a system that was largely created by non-educators to supposedly hold educators accountable. And instead of fixing the actual problems that lead to learning issues like high levels of poverty, and not having access to healthcare, not having access to books, not having access to experiences, not having some of the supports that are needed at home, because parents are often working multiple jobs just to make the ends meet in this economy. Like, instead of addressing those issues, we've put all the weight on teachers to fix all of these problems when those students come to school. And they thought that if we just make teachers, like, if we just test kids, that this will put all this pressure on teachers to teach better, or to put more effort into their teaching, when that wasn't really the problem to begin with. The problem to begin with were all those other socioeconomic issues that needed to be addressed, and social issues that needed to be addressed. And are largely ignored by our state leaders and our national leaders. So this documentary is designed for us to start questioning the system, because without changes to the structural piece, to that systemic piece in education, we're going to continue to have these problems come up where teachers are disrespected, overworked, overburdened, forced to myopically focus on testing, and then students' natural curiosity and students' zest for learning, which is a natural thing within all of them, is going to continue to be squashed under those types of conditions. And the only students that really actually excel in school typically are the ones that make a connection between, hey, if I do this work and I jump through these hoops, then I can have the type of success that I want in the future. Not that they're necessarily inspired and actually want to do the work. especially if it's tied to, spitting it back out on a multiple choice test. That doesn't inspire anybody. So this documentary is called Rehumanizing School, and what you can do if you'd like early access to it is you can go to the Cool website, cool.us/rehumanizing school, and there are two links there. There's one where you can sign up for free early access. That early access is going to be April 22nd. I'm going to Floyd I'm so excited to revisit Floyd. It's been about a year and a half since I've been there. And we're going to have a world premiere of the docuseries in Floyd with that community, with those people from those schools, the students, the teachers, and community members. I'm really excited about that. That's happening April 19th as we celebrate Earth Day weekend. And then on Earth Day, which is April 22nd, those who sign up for this early access right here will be able to get access to all the episodes. And not only will there be all 4 episodes, but there's a preface on there, a video that I've created about this, about why I've done this project. And then there'll be all the raw interviews, like uncut interviews with all the people that I interviewed in Floyd while I was there. So all that will be on there. And then you can also request, as a second button that allows you to request a screening. So if you would like me to come and do a screening, we can screen like 1 episode or all of the episodes. And we can do this at a university, a college, at a school district, in an auditorium, whatever you want to do. And we can invite the community to come in and look at this, and then have a town hall conversation about our school system and about what maybe we can learn from these folks in this small town in rural Virginia, because there's a lot of beautiful things that are happening there. So what I thought I would do, if it's okay with y'all, I guess it is, you don't have a choice, is I'm going to share the trailer of Rehumanizing School with you now. So here it is, the trailer for the docuseries Rehumanizing School.
One of the things that I treasure about Blue Mountain School is the genuine relationship we're in with each other here.
And what I've experienced at Springhouse is that when you're actually in community together, both at Springhouse, but then again in the small town of Floyd, it's like you can really tend to someone's development, where they are transformed by what we're doing. And I really trust the young people that are going into the world.
Now I see my connection to the earth, and now I know where I fit in the cosmology of the world.
For me, it's helped me really meet like all of the needs I have for like rest and introspecting, and the self-care I need to do, and building relationships and being in nature. Yeah, it's very honoring of that rather than an end goal.
There's a lot of love here, and I think that love is something that doesn't always have a place in education.
My friend Riley, he was shy for the first 3 days of school until on Thursday, while he was at recess up in that tree over there. I asked him what his name was and what he liked to do. From then on, we bonded and made friends.
Once you get to know this place a lot, you just feel welcome. Life's just kind of easy when you get to know this place a lot, and you have friends.
When he came here, he told me that this is one of his best places he's ever been in his life. I was like, oh, well, that's good. Like, Floyd is a really good place. Like, you get to have fun, especially at Blue Mountain. You get to see a lot of kids' happiness. If you went to Blue Mountain, it would probably make your heart warm up.
Well, this sounds really a bit conceited, but my teenagers are extraordinary. All of them here are. I love all the kids here, not just my own, but They're extraordinary. And the thing is, I look around when I go out and see like the real world, the normal, the norm, and I think all these people could be.
If you're not cultivated, if you're only, if that's, you're only brought up to do what you do because you're afraid of getting in trouble or you want a prize, that leaves the self undeveloped. And so what I would love, and what happens here at Blue Mountain, is we are cultivating a self that can then be self-directed, can be self-regulated, can be, and then grows up to be what it's really meant to be, rather than a reaction or a response to these external things. There's an actual, oh, I'm a seed and this is what I'm growing up to be.
So that's what this school is for teens and adults, is to really support the development, the natural development of a unique individual person. There will never be another person like you or I or anyone. And it's so hard for me to understand how we can't hold that with such reverence.
So there it is. That's the trailer for Rehumanizing School, a 4-part docuseries that you can sign up for right now at cool.us/rehumanizing school. Just go there, click the link, sign up for that, and what I'll do is I'll be emailing everybody who signs up a passcode to get onto the website on April 22nd, and then you'll be able to watch the entire series along with all the bonus footage that other folks won't have access to. So I'm really excited about that. And I just want to say, if anybody's from Floyd is watching, thanks to the staff and the students and the community in Floyd at Blue Mountain School and Springhouse Community School. I'm really looking forward to visiting Floyd again. It's a really wonderful and magical small town here in rural Virginia. The last thing I wanted to mention is we have a movement here, and our movement is the South Carolina Education Association, proudly the state affiliate for the National Education Association. NEA is the largest labor union in the United States. There are over 3.2 million members, and because of that, there's a lot of benefits that we have, a ton of benefits. You can go to neamb.com to look at all of the benefits that NEA members get. But beyond the benefits, we're building a movement here in South Carolina, and we want you to be a part of it. And it's a movement to create the kind of schools that you deserve, to take a look at some of these things that are happening in Floyd and say, hey, maybe we need to change the system in ways that help educators feel more respected, more valued, that help our students have the kind of experience that they need, rather than being so focused on testing, to make sure that educators are paid well so that they don't have to take on second and third jobs to make ends meet, to make sure that our teachers have plenty of planning time, to make sure that our contracts that teachers are signing on May 10th are fair, and that teachers know what they're getting, what they're actually signing up for. Because right now, many areas we're signing contracts and we don't even know for sure how much we're going to get paid, and we aren't guaranteed where we're even going to be or what we're going to be teaching. That's not really a fair contract in my mind. So these are things, just some of the things that we need to be fighting for. And we can only do that together. We can't do that by ourselves, and we can't do that isolated, and we can't do that by going to teachers' lounge and just complaining to each other about it. We have to come together and build a movement. And that's why we've been working really hard for years now, doing our best to organize and build a movement so that we have the collective power to create the kind of change that our teachers and students deserve. So if you're interested in being a part of that, there's a couple of things you can do. You can either join right now at jointhescea.org, Or if you're just interested in learning more about who we are, you can go to the scea.org/YRO. So those links are going to come up at the bottom of your screen right now. You can join right now at jointhescea.org. You can also text the word join to 48744. Or you can go to the scea.org/YRO, and we'll reach out to you with more information about who we are. The SCEA is the only union for teachers in South Carolina. We're proudly a union. And when you join the SCEA, you're actually joining 3 associations. You're joining a national association, which is critical because we have to be advocating at the federal level, at the national level, because those federal policies make their way to your school district, to our state department, to your school district, your school, and your classroom. We also need to be advocating at the state level in Columbia, and that's where the SCEA comes in, because those state laws and state policies directly impact you and your students. But then there's that third tier, which is your local association. So we have amazing local associations here in Horry County, in Greenville County, in Charleston County. We have amazing local associations. And if the association in your area isn't really active, maybe it's time for you to step up into that leadership role and help develop that local association. And that's what sets us apart. We have our members are members at the local, state, and national level. And so if you're interested in joining that movement, you can do that tonight. And we invite you to do that. And you can reach out to any of us with questions that you have about our movement. Thanks again to Nicole Schuldes for her valuable insights tonight on artificial intelligence. We're going to be taking next week off, but you don't forget to access Cool Coaching at cool.us/coaching tomorrow night for one-to-one classroom support. And if you just want some classroom advice, you don't necessarily need full coaching, but you have a question, go to cool.us/dearcoach, and you can ask our coaches a question. It's kind of like a Dear Abby kind of thing, and they'll answer those questions for you through email. Thanks again to Nicole Schuldes. Thanks for you for tuning in tonight, and thanks to all the teachers out there in South Carolina. We love you. We care about you. We're standing in solidarity with you, and we wish you the best. And for those that celebrate, have a happy Easter.